Great.
You
Great
obviously
music.
piqued
Great
my
music.
interest at the bad 80s movie. Good stuff, though, Kevin Wildes. All right. The other big story we're discussing this morning, Cam Newton is unemployed no longer. The former MVP headed back to the place he won MVP years ago, the Carolina Panthers. With Sam Darnold injured, they needed a quarterback, Cam needed a home, and here we are. The deal worth up to $10 million as he now returns to the team he led to a Super Bowl appearance way back when. Here's head coach Matt Rule on the decision to sign Cam Newton.
This team wants to win, and this team moving forward wants to win, and they want to win now, and they want to win this year, and they want to win next year, and they want to win. And so this isn't about anything other than winning. And you know, I think that's the only reason why Cam's coming here, because he wants to win. That's why I'm bringing him here, because I want to win. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just kind of how I see it. You know, I'm happy that people are excited. Don't get me wrong, but you know, I want to someday have a ticker tape parade here in Charlotte, right? So, you know, it hasn't happened yet, and that weighs on my conscience, right? Like I want to bring a Super Bowl to the city, and so every step we make, it's, hey, can this help us get to the playoffs? Hey, can this help us win? Hey, because if we get to the playoffs, you never know what happens, right? You always have a chance. So, you know, I'm not saying we're going to the playoffs. I'm not making any predictions. I'm not talking on hypotheticals, but this is the most disciplined move right now to give us a chance to win. And, you know, PJ has to go help us win this week, and PJ has to help us win the following weeks. I can't say anything about the future, what's happening or how it'll go down, but that's why we made the decision.
All right, I'm just going to say this. Matt Rule answered that question as if he was not expecting that question. And he's like, I'm going to keep talking until I get to the thing that I think I might want to say. Wow. The Panthers, by the way, posting this picture of Cam with Panthers owner David Tepper with the caption, "Together again." Nick Wright, do you expect things to work? You're a Cam guy. You know and you acknowledge that he hasn't really been himself the last couple of the years, injury or otherwise. You expect things to work out in Cam's return to Carolina?
Well, he is going to be better than Darnold because Darnold was the worst quarterback in football this year. With all due respect to the other terrible quarterbacks, Darnold was the worst. And so all the other quarterbacks went to bed at night saying, at least I'm not playing as bad as Darnold. And so in that regard, it will work out. And it should be noted, while the top of the NFC has 5 awesome teams, after that, it's a whole bunch of, Right now, the 6th seed is New Orleans, who has a great defense, but is currently quarterbacked by Trevor Siemian. And the 7th seed is the 4-4 Atlanta Falcons. The Panthers are 4-5 in the same division as Atlanta. They get to play Atlanta, they play New Orleans. So they absolutely, with that defense, if Cam is any good at all, are alive, because 9 wins is going to get you into the playoffs in the NFC. So, yeah, I think it can work out. LaShawn, to me, what's most interesting about this is confirmation that it was a massive mistake by Carolina to get rid of Cam in the first place. Now, was Cam good last year? No. He got cut this year, sure. But what Carolina has done since they got rid of Cam is give Teddy Bridgewater $33 million guaranteed for 1 year of football, and now a huge dead cap hit this year. Trade a 2nd, a 4th, and a 6th for Darnold for terrible football, and a $19 million guaranteed salary next year for Darnold. So their quarterback moves post-Cam have been a disaster. They didn't draft one. They just did this. And so, yeah, they should have never gotten rid of him. I think it'll work out, but I know he'll be better than Darnold.
Nick, that's actually a great point. I didn't know that. Wow. As I watched that press conference, as a head coach, you're supposed to say them things, okay? But let's get to the real facts. Now, we don't know when Cam's going to play, right? He won't play this week. He won't. I'm not sure if he'll play next week. It's a whole new offense. He has to learn the whole new offense. The only thing I can see if it can work, because like you said, that division is tough, but in the NFC, you can make the playoffs with 9 wins. The only thing I can see that can make this thing work, right, if they cater to Cam Newton. It's too late in the game to learn the whole playbook. So now you got to get some more quarterback-driven runs. You have McCaffrey, you know, the option a little bit, the RPOs. He has some explosive wide receivers. DJ Moore outside can really go. And like you said, anybody is better than Darnold. I mean, like, seriously. The thing why I doubt when I watch that press conference is because you should have been did it. This guy's going week after week throwing 3 picks, 2 picks, no touchdowns, right? Barely throwing for 175 yards. And he's passing for like 40 times a game. So it's hard to believe that when you finally do it because he got hurt. You should have been made this adjustment. You should have been made this move. You need a quarterback to win games. A lot of them games, these guys are up in the fourth quarter. These guys are up in the second half. And they slowly lose because Sam Darnold throws the ball away to the other team. So I think Cam Newton can work, right? If they really care to him, give him plays that's easy for him, RPOs to the running backs, safe throws, and let him use his feet. Because if not, they're in trouble. So I think that Cam is a lot better option than Sam Darnold by a long shot.
Yeah, so I do too. First of all, like emotionally, I'm thrilled for Cam. I'm happy that he's back in Carolina. It feels like a natural fit for him. It's like a nice bookends to his career. Hopefully he can stay there, succeed, and win that starting job. I don't think Sam Darnold's the guy. It'd be great if Cam finished out this year and earned the job next year too and see what Carolina could do. There's also a beautiful poetry, Nick, to it that Bill Belichick actually gave Cam Newton his starting job back by destroying the Panthers last week. And granted, Darnold was hurt, but we were calling for Darnold to be pulled from that game after the second interception. I think it was like, hey, get that guy out of here. So now Belichick's like, you're welcome, Cam. It all works out. I pull him out. I am worried about one thing. And LaShawn, you mentioned it, like, explosive plays. From watching all of Cam last year, I don't know if those explosive plays are on the board. I hope they are. But if we can look at, since he was injured, him throwing the ball 15-plus yards down the field just hasn't happened. Just eye test-wise, LaShawn, the ball looks heavy at times. And the Patriots and Josh McDaniels rarely, if ever, had an explosive play. Now, a lot of blame was placed on, it's the weapons. I don't know if it was necessarily weapons. Certainly, the Patriots got better weapons. It's not like we had like a Pro Bowl team full of wide receivers last year. But his lack of ability to throw the ball down the field, that's what I would be looking for if I was a defensive coordinator playing the Panthers. I was like, you know what? We're going to take away everything short. Throw one over our heads. Let's see it. But until we see it, we're not going to respect it. So I think they have to figure out a way to at least scare the other team and have Cam try to air something out to put a little fear in people's minds.
Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah, you're right. I just think that when that happens, right, when you can't throw the ball efficiently down the field, you have to do other things. And I talked about the RPO game, right? A lot of times when I was with the Chiefs and everybody expects us to go deep all the time, we did so many RPOs where you have speedy guys like Carolina has, throw the ball for 6 yards, 7 yards, right? It potentially can go for 25, 30 yards. So with Cam Newton, you got to use his ability with his feet. You got to. It's there. We all know, it's no secret, right? He hasn't played great. He hasn't played well, but he's solid enough, right, where he's safe with the ball and you use his feet, small passes, right, that get more yards. And I think that if you do that with Cam Newton, you have a chance. You don't have to throw deep all the time. Use the immediate passes and be all right.
And I understand Matt Rule said, I don't know when Cam's going to play. I do, after this week. You didn't pay him $4.5 million guaranteed dollars to not play. I wouldn't be. I bet they'd love to get him on the field this week. By the way, he's played with McCaffrey. He's played with DJ Moore. I don't think they can get him on the field this week. But next week's Washington. The week after is Miami. Then you have a bye. Now the Panthers' schedule's tough after the bye. But again, you're not going to need to be 11-6 to get the final playoff spot in the NFC. But I just want to circle back to how botched the quarterback situation in Carolina has been that they're at this point. So they cut Cam, and if you remember, he was upset they cut him. But they wanted to move forward. They had a new coach. They're moving forward. Fine. That year in the draft, they're drafting 7th. They got a little unlucky. Justin Herbert went 6th. Maybe they would have taken Justin Herbert, but after that, the next quarterback taken is Jordan Love. So it's like, okay, we're not getting our quarterback there. They signed Teddy. It doesn't work out. What they did this offseason, they had the option. They had the 8th pick of the draft. They knew unequivocally there's going to be some quarterbacks there. Justin Fields, who just looked awesome this past week, was going to be there. And Mac Jones was there. And if Mac Jones wasn't there, Trey Lance would have been. Instead of going that route, they draft J.C. Horn, who I think can be really good. He had suffered a terrible injury early. We'll see. But instead of spending the 8th pick on the draft, they spent a 2nd-round pick, a 4th-round pick, a 6th-round pick on Sam Darnold. And the moment they traded for him, they picked up, again, his fully guaranteed $19 million for next year. Next year, the 15th biggest quarterback cap hit in the NFL is Sam Darnold's for the Carolina Panthers. 15th biggest. It's a bigger cap hit than Josh Allen or Tom Brady next season. That guy for your team when you could have drafted a rookie. And instead, you're praying Cam has something left. It's a disaster for Carolina the way they've handled the quarterback situation since cutting Cam Newton.
The only thing I will say about that move, right, is that he tricked everybody, right? He tricked me, okay? The Jets knew what they were doing. He tricked the Panthers. In the first 3 games, right, I said, wow, this is a great move. They actually have Sam Darnold with a good team.